Hey guys, this is the first video I'm making ever on this channel other than my shorts, but this is actually in reference to my shorts. Stick around for some lyrics and some lyricist play. I just kind of want to break down some lyrics really quick just because I've done this 4 times and I didn't realize that I should be recording horizontally. But pretty much I just got some flack on this one video. The lyrics that I used were cut in half from the verse that I wrote, and so there wasn't a whole lot of context, and people were like, oh, these are just random punchlines, you're at a college level, like I can't understand you. I don't really feel like I did that, but honestly, I felt like I did that more in like the first part of the verse. So I don't know. We'll see. Let me know in the comments like what you think I could work on, or like if you have anything to add to this. But as I gaze upon the sunset low, leaving behind stars that glow, something's found in faintest snow. I'm fade and change my race to slow. Unlace truth, bring ruthless code, but up my gaze and face in mode. Fuck the chase, relinquish foe. Cools and cool till someone's told. A group of you then turns to crowd before a group it's turneth down. Man, I be burning out before one knows the sound. You go with the flow, but the current's always changing. Man, I go on my own, but the purists come in spades. Now, this is the part where it got a little controversial. This is the part that I actually put in the short. I'm an oceanic astronaut. I got flows and I can space them up. I'm the only rapper with pros that I be writing standard of prose. And I float like camping go. No common cold or common soul cannot handle the particles I put out in the atmos. That's just the ammo. I got missiles and nukes like panoramications let loose. I'm a vandal like animations out of nowhere. I have no stations. I got cold air, but the machine's hard to touch. She's been writing like unstoppable. Got lots of guts and parts of all constant cuts, but got the love. Wow. Okay. So just to kind of unpack that real quick because that was a lot, and I just wanted to get it out of the way. So the idea is that the sunset is, or the sun, I guess, in this is, it's the imagery of like a sunset. I was writing this when I was on a balcony watching the sunset in Hawaii. But the sun is supposed to represent an old artist or a big artist leaving the scene and leaving behind stars that take their place. And it's just talking about how this makes me think that, hey, there's always going to be someone to take someone's place, and that could be me. So why am I rushing this, and why am I, trying to force something when I should just do me, not try to follow the trends, not try to, just kind of be authentic, be me, be who I am, and focus on what's important, which is building a crowd. But first I need a group, and building a group leads to a crowd easily, but building that group is the hard part. And that's what I'm talking about in there, and I feel like I'm burning out before people even know the sound because I'm going too fast. And this leads into oceanic astronaut. I'm an oceanic astronaut is pretty much just saying I feel like I'm in the depths of water. I'm being crushed by all this pressure, and I feel like I'm under all this stress and strain. And the astronaut part of it is just saying like I'm really spacey. I'm really spacey headed. I zone out a lot, and it's kind of annoying actually. But I got flows and I can space them up. It's just kind of relating to that. Oceanic flows, and then astronaut, I can space them up. I'm the only rapper with pros that I be rating standard of prose. That's pretty much just saying like, oh, it's a play on like, oh, I have pros that write for me. It's like, no, I'm the only rapper with prose that I wrote. But I float like Campango. Campango is just a fish that lives deep in the water in a stream. So I thought that was kind of a cool play. I feel like I'm deep, but I'm still floating. Atmos is pretty much just like atmosphere or Dolby Atmos, and then panoramications is like a play on ramifications and panoramic. I'm just kind of mixing those words, and I thought it was a creative spin. And then I have no station, I got cold air. Pretty much what this is saying is I have air, like I'm live, but nobody's listening. It is not hot. This shit is not popping off. But the machine's hot to touch. It's been writing like unstoppable. It's, cold to hot. Parsival was looking for something that couldn't be found. That's what I feel like I'm doing, and that kind of just sums up what I'm trying to say. Now, of course, not every part of this is going to be perfect. Like, there's probably some parts where it's like, okay, maybe this is too big of a word or something. But and like someone was saying, oh, it sounds like you like a college lecture with rhymes, but honestly, I feel like the hardest words in this are maybe relinquished, vogue, prose, maybe like prose, as in poems, like I was saying. I'm not entirely sure, but maybe you guys can tell me in the comments because these words all feel super basic to me. Like this is stuff like I've known these words forever. Like this is some words that I would use in middle school, But I don't know, like it's just strange to me. But I also had somebody telling me that, oh, like it was just out of nowhere and all this stuff. Like all the punchlines were out of nowhere and it's just rhymes. Like it's more than rhymes and all this stuff. And I mean, yeah, I agree, but I felt like I had some metaphorical and some like insight in that. And he was saying like, oh, like, have you ever like even done anything with your life? Like, have you lived through anything? And do you have any like experiences to add to it? But it's like, how how can I write that any different to be what you want? And don't listen to haters, but at the same time, like if if you do want people to understand what you're saying and listen to you, you kind of have to be understandable. And I feel like I'm maybe, I wouldn't say too smart, but I would say I feel like maybe I'm throwing in a little bit too high level of words. I'm not really sure because these words feel so basic to me. Um, and I also had another comment saying, "Oh, like I really like how you put the rhymes together, but you need to add a flow." And I mean, to be fair, I was kind of just word salading, word vomiting. And it maybe didn't sound the best. Like it didn't really have a flow to it, and there was no like flow that I was going for. Um, and who knows, maybe I should have posted it with a flow. Like maybe that would have made it better, otherwise. But I just can't quite see how so confusing or like almost arbitrary. Like people made it sound like it was arbitrary, and I don't know, like it just doesn't make sense to me. But I did have all that to say, and how do I lead this into the next section? Pretty much what I'm trying to say is what's so not understandable about these lyrics? Because I'm having a tough time figuring it out, and I want to know, like, is it just from like a normal people's like a not normal people standpoint, but like from like a normal non-musician perspective, is this too hard to understand? Like, am I doing too much? And this was to be doing too much. So if this is doing too much, like, yeah, that's kind of expected. But when I say doing too much, I mean, am I reading, like, am I giving myself too many props? Am I giving myself too much of a benefit of a doubt to the point where I can't see what other people are talking about? Probably, but at the same time, I feel like they only said that because they don't know the context and they don't know the metaphors, and they're just scrolling through on TikTok. Why would they care to read into it? I don't know. What do you think in the comments? It would really help out. And if you're another artist that maybe wants to work together, or if you're seeing this and you have some feedback on, especially on my music in general, let me know, because I would love the feedback. I rarely get any, and honestly, I appreciate it more than anything. Like, even if somebody was like, "Oh, this is fire," I would rather hear feedback. I would rather hear, "Hey, this is good, but work on this." I would love that.